The movie opens up to a scene where a male student who looked scared and panicked tried to flee, even threatening to call the police. However, before he could escape, he was suddenly hit by a car, leaving him seriously injured. His student ID card fell out during the accident. New students arrived at Jooshin High School, filling the spot left by the injured student. That same day marked the beginning of a new school year. Kang Ha joined Jooshin High School on a scholarship sponsored by the Jooshin Group. However, since this was an elite school for the wealthy, Kang Ha, who came from a humble background, was looked down upon by his peers. Unaware of this unspoken hierarchy, he cheerfully sought help from his classmates. Suddenly, a male student entered the room. It was Ryan, the heir to the Jooshin conglomerate and grandson of the school's founder. The microphone was immediately turned off as everyone waited for Ryan to take his seat. Only then did the ceremony continue. After Kang Ha finished reading his speech, he returned to his seat. At the end of the opening ceremony, the principal instructed the students to stand up and leave one by one. Kang Ha, confused, was about to get up first, but the other students remained seated. They only left once Ryan stood up. Kang Ha was puzzled and asked a male student why, but the student dismissed him with disdain. At that moment, a female student approached Kang Ha and teased him, introducing herself flirtatiously. She asked for his phone number, the first person to warmly interact with him. Kang Ha happily dialed her number and asked for directions to the English classroom. Following heirs' instructions, he arrived at the classroom only to be immediately redirected by the teacher. It turned out that the class was exclusively for aristocratic students. Kang Ha was sent to a regular class instead. There, his classmates alienated and mocked him, treating him as inferior. They wouldn't let him sit in the front row, forcing him to take a seat at the back, where the desk was old and worn out. Meanwhile, in a private lounge at school, a group of elite students enjoyed a luxurious meal. This group, the highest ranked at Jooshin High, consisted of 4 members: Ryan, Woo-jin, and Jae-yi. However, Jae-yi was absent as she had yet to return from studying abroad. During lunch, Woo-jin received a phone call and had to leave. Seeing an opportunity, Ra tried to flirt with Ryan. Despite knowing that he and Jae-yi were dating, she suggested that Ryan pick up Jae-yi from the airport, but he refused, leaving Ra to go alone. At the airport, Jae-yi finally arrived, radiant, elegant, and noble. Ra greeted her, and curiously asked why she had gone 3 months without contacting anyone. Jae, looking exhausted, brushed off the question and instead told Ra to gather their friends at the racetrack that weekend. She had something important to announce. Though confused, Ra agreed and sent a message to the group informing Woo-jin and Ryan. Both were puzzled by Jae-yi's sudden return. That night, Jae-yi's family hosted a welcome party, attended by the senator's family. Kang Ha played the piano at the event, his gaze repeatedly drawn to Jae-yi. However, she wasn't particularly enthusiastic about the party. She ate quickly and excused herself. As she left, her biological father, Chairman Yoon, followed her. "Are you unhappy with something?" he asked. Jae-yi feigned exhaustion and requested to rest in her room, but her father insisted she change and join the guests for tea on the second floor. "Don't wear clothes like your mother," he added sternly. At the mention of her late biological mother, Jae-yi's father immediately grew angry. It was clear he wanted no reminders of her. Resigned, Jae-yi bowed her head, apologizing and agreeing to comply. Before leaving her, father also instructed her to change her lipstick. "Don't imitate your trash of a mother. You must live up to your status as the daughter of the Jooshin Group's chairman," he said coldly before walking away. Only after he left did Jae-yi let her resentment show. She removed her outer dress, then slipped away to the gate to smoke a vape pod. Coincidentally, Kang Ha was also there. Captivated by Jae-yi's elegance, he blushed. Jae-yi smirked and casually asked to borrow his jacket. Seeing that she was cold, Kang Ha gallantly agreed. She took the jacket and left, without another word, leaving Kang Ha shivering in the night air. Later, Jae-yi arrived at the racetrack, where Ra and Woo-jin were surprised by her unusual attire. Shortly after, Ryan appeared, his gaze locked onto Jae-yi. Breaking the silence, Jae-yi challenged Ryan to a race. "Whoever wins gets to make a wish," she proposed. Ryan, intrigued, asked, "What's your wish?" "Race me and find out," she replied. The race began. 2 luxury cars sped down the track, with Ryan maintaining the lead and blocking Jae-yi's attempts to pass. But when he realized that Jae-yi was willing to risk her life to win, he intentionally swerved off the track, allowing her to take first place. As Ryan arrived at the finish line, he asked if she was okay. Jae-yi ignored the concern and directly stated her wish: "Let's break up." Ryan stood frozen for 5 seconds. Ra and Woo-jin, sensing the tension, quietly left to give them privacy. Still in shock, Ryan asked, "Why?" Jae-yi countered with a question of her own. "Why do you like me?" Ryan had no answer. "Exactly. If there's no reason to like someone, then there doesn't need to be a reason to break up," Jae-fi said flatly. You lost. Keep your promise. With that, she walked away, leaving Ryan standing there, replaying the memories of their relationship, unable to understand what he had done wrong. The next day at school, Ryan's classmates noticed his injured hand and whispered among themselves. What happened to the tyrant of Jooshin High? Jae glanced at Ryan's hand, a flicker of concern in her eyes. Meanwhile, Kang Ha, thinking she was looking at him, waved enthusiastically. During class, the teacher announced the application process for gifted programs. Confused, Kang Ha asked his classmates, but no one bothered to explain. In a private meeting, the teacher instructed the class president to keep an eye on the transfer students, warning him not to let an incident like last time happen again. The class president, visibly shaken, reluctantly agreed. Elsewhere, Ryan sat on the rugby field, lost in thought. His friends tried to console him. Girls are complicated, one said. Sometimes it doesn't matter why. Just apologize and she might forgive you. Ra, seeing Ryan's troubled expression, decided to help by arranging a date for him and Jae. Meanwhile, Kang Ha tried to sit in the upper rows of the stadium, only to be pulled away by a group of students. He was taken to a closed room, where they warned him about the school's hierarchy. Know your place, one student sneered. You can't sit wherever you want. And you definitely can't challenge the rich kids. They're special here. At Jooshin High, scholarship students were distinguished from wealthy students by their ID colors. Blue for scholarship students, red for the elite. Kang Ha learned that another student had previously been in his position, only to be punished by Ryan. Now, Kang Ha was his replacement. Undeterred, Kang Ha ignored their warnings. Instead, he boldly ran onto the field and extended a handshake to Ryan. Everyone stared in shock. Ra found it amusing, while Ryan, clearly uncomfortable, walked away. As soon as Ryan left, the other students rushed over, wondering if Kang Ha was brave or just clueless. Ra smirked. It's fine, she said. Why don't you come to the welcome party tonight? I'll send someone to pick you up. Kang Ha had no idea that he was about to step deeper into Jooshin High's dangerous social order. He doesn't understand anything, but agrees happily. In the evening, Ra prepares a party with the main purpose of getting Ryan to apologize to Jae. She texts an invitation to Jae and, at the same time, arranges a car to pick up Kang Ha, unaware of what trick she plans to play. Kang Ha is taken to Ra's villa, where he is required to leave his phone, with security promising it will be returned after the party. Kang Ha walks inside leisurely, only to discover that the party is filled with girls drinking and smoking, something he has no interest in. Ra notices Kang Ha's arrival, and the group of friends welcomes him with a drinking game. Among the 6 cups of alcohol, one is supposed to contain a strong stimulant, but in reality, Ra has laced 5 of them with drugs, leaving only 1 cup safe. Knowing where the safe drink is, Ra volunteers to go first. Kang Ha, not knowing how to drink, tries to decline, but his friends pressure him into participating, saying he can't waste Ra's efforts. Forced to choose at random, he unknowingly picks a drug cup. The moment he drinks, the effects hit him. His body becomes unsteady, and he struggles to walk properly. The group watches, laughing and joking, as Kang Ha stumbles to the bathroom to wash his face. Realizing that he has been drugged for their amusement, he becomes furious. Returning to the party, he joins the others in a daring game. A girl spins and receives the question, "When was the last time you had sex?" She casually replies, "Probably this morning," leaving the group in shock. Meanwhile, Kang Ha is distracted, his attention locked on Jae. Suddenly, Jae receives a mysterious text message, a video, reminding her of something that happened on October 27th of last year. Before she can process it, Ryan texts her, asking to meet in a private room. Inside, Ryan apologizes, even though he doesn't fully understand what he did wrong. Jae refuses to accept his apology. Desperate to know why she's acting this way, Ryan presses for an answer, but Jae swears she'll take the secret to her grave. Furious, Ryan storms out. Back outside, Kang Ha, still under the influence, becomes the target of another dare. His classmates ask him, "Who would you sleep with at this party?" Instead of answering, he chooses the dare, which is to kiss any girl of his choice. He scans the room full of beautiful and attractive girls, but ignores them. Instead, he suddenly stands up, and everyone immediately follows his movements with curiosity. He strides straight into Ryan and Jae's private room, locking eyes with Ryan coldly. It turns out that Kang Ha's reason for transferring to Jooshin High wasn't random. He came for revenge. Ryan had once sent someone to their doom, just as Kang Ha's friends had warned him. That person was none other than Kang Ha's brother. Before his brother died, Kang Ha had promised to expose the truth. Returning to the party, he makes his move. He chooses to kiss Jae. She responds, and the entire room freezes. Ryan is visibly enraged, while Hae-ra watches in thrilled excitement. The next morning, the party ends. But in a secluded rundown warehouse, one couple still hasn't separated. Wook-jin and the teacher, who had spent a passionate night together. Despite not wanting to, part one has to attend school, while the other must return to teaching, forcing them to say goodbye. Meanwhile, Ryan is still fuming over last night's events, even though he had already punished Kang Ha. However, his anger refuses to subside. At that moment, his mother, who had just returned from abroad, speaks to him for the first time. Not to ask about him, but to instruct him to prepare to leave the country for his studies. She doesn't even remember that he still has a year left of high school. To her, hiring a team of servants to care for him should have been enough. But Ryan lacks the one thing money can't buy: his mother's love. Enraged by her indifference, he leaves without another word. For the wealthy students of Jooshin High, the biggest daily struggle is deciding which luxury car to take to school. That morning, Ryan chooses a sports car. At the school gate, Kang Ha recognizes an old friend from his previous school, Hoo-tae. But Hoo-tae pretends not to know him. Kang Ha quickly avoids him and walks with his new friends. Though teased by his classmates, he ignores them, more disappointed by the betrayal of his former friend. In class, the entire school is buzzing. Despite what happened, Kang Ha actually showed up. The students whisper anxiously about his fate. A female student asks Hae-ra about the relationship between Kang Ha and Jae, wondering if Kang Ha dared to kiss her in front of Rayan because of something deeper. Another girl suggests that Kang Ha was simply high on drugs and unaware of what he was doing. Hae-ra, amused, claims that maybe Kang Ha was just bravely pursuing his goal, even though he wasn't in Jaehyun's class. She adds, however, that he has picked a dangerous opponent. At that moment, Kang Ha and Rayan cross paths. The real reason Kang Ha kissed Jaehyun was because he had been told by a female student that she was Rayan's greatest weakness. Anyone who got too close to her would trigger his wrath. That's what had led to Kang Ha's brother's demise. Returning to reality, Rayan sees Kang Ha standing in his way. Instead of confronting him, he chooses to lead his group around him. But Kang Ha turns to give Rayan one last cold glance before walking away. Later, Rayan confronts Jae, accusing her of using Kang Ha as a pawn to sever ties with him. He still demands to know the real reason she left him. Jae refuses to answer. Determined, Rayan vows to find out himself and eliminate anyone who stands in his way. He walks out and immediately orders his friends to deal with Kang Ha, warning him not to touch things that don't belong to him. Shortly after, Ryan's lackeys summon the scholarship students to class and order them not to associate with Kang Ha, planning to isolate him. However, Kang Ha, sitting in his seat, merely laughs. "You guys are telling me this on purpose?" he mocks. When the president of the scholarship student group grabs Kang Ha easily twists his arm in return. Though he keeps a gentle demeanor, he is not one to be bullied. At that moment, Jae enters and Kang Ha is momentarily distracted by her presence. Seizing the opportunity, the president bites Kang Ha just as the teacher walks in and scolds him, forcing him to leave. The teacher then announces that Jooshin High will soon hold a healing forest retreat, and all students must register. Anyone who doesn't attend must provide an hour's notice. Kang Ha, uninterested, doesn't react. After class, Kang Ha follows Jae, one intending to speak with her, but hesitates due to Hae-ra's presence. Jae tells him to just say whatever is on his mind. He apologizes for last night, but Jae dismisses it lightly, saying it was just a party and there's no need to overthink it. She considers it her way of repaying him for lending her his shirt the other day. However, she warns him if he wants to survive, he should quit Jooshin High. That's the only way to escape Ryan. After she leaves, Hae-ra questions Kang Ha. Out of all the girls at the party, why did he choose Jung-won? Kang Ha simply responds, because she was the most beautiful, and happily walks away. Hae-ra doesn't believe him. There's no way he would risk his life just for a kiss. That evening, Hae-ra visits a hotel looking for Ryan. She accidentally spots Jae standing outside his room, but hesitating to go in. Hae-ra wants to tell Ryan about this, but stops when she sees him watching an old video of himself and Jae, both smiling happily. She then advises him if he wants Jae back, he should date another girl. Seeing the boy who once loved her with someone else will trigger her possessiveness, making her return to him. Instead of wasting time trying to understand her, he should focus on making her come back on her own. However, Ryan has another plan. He orders Hae-ra to uncover Jaehyun's secret. Since she's Jung-won's best friend, she'll surely have access to valuable information. Hae-ra pretended to hesitate about betraying Jaehyun, but in the end, she accepted Ryan's suggestion. Meanwhile, Jaehyun was drinking with Woo-jin, who was also eager to uncover Jaehyun's secret. Just then, Woo-jin's phone rang, and she realized Woo-jin had a secret of his own. Suddenly, Jaehyun received an anonymous message from a mysterious sender threatening her. The message warned that a scandalous video of her would be sent to her father. A year ago, Jaehyun had faced a similar situation. She was terrified because Chairman Yoon valued reputation above all else, even more than family. Even Jaehyun's biological mother had been dealt with by him. At the time, she was so desperate that she attempted suicide, but was discovered by her father before it was too late. The thought of facing another scandal was unbearable. A close friend comforted comforted Jae-in, assuring her that they would find a way to resolve the situation together. However, Jae-in soon discovered a hidden camera in her friend's pocket. Just then, Ryan and Woo-jin burst in, pulling Jae-in's so-called friend away. The mysterious sender demanded a meeting with Jae-in. She excused herself from Woo-jin and left. The next day, Jae-in accompanied her father and younger brother on a hunting trip in the forest. Chairman Yoon was teaching her how to hunt when his secretary suddenly approached, informing him of an urgent phone call. After taking the call, Chairman Yoon turned to Jae-in with a piercing gaze. Jae-in instantly felt her blood run cold. In her mind, she imagined her father pointing a gun at her, warning her not to follow in her mother's footsteps. She braced herself for the worst, closing her eyes and waiting for death. But it was all just a vision in her mind. In reality, Chairman Yoon simply stated that he had to return to handle important business at the company. Apologizing for cutting the trip short, Jae-in felt a momentary sense of relief. Later, she texted Ha, arranging to meet at her house. Meanwhile, Kang Ha was in the locker room when Ryan entered, causing the other students to scatter. Only Kang Ha remained. He witnessed a male student handing Ryan a package of white pills. Kang Ha immediately recognized it as drugs. Before his brother passed away, he had warned Kang Ha about how the rich students at Jooshin School manipulated others. His brother had been tricked into drinking alcohol spiked with drugs at the transfer students' welcoming party. At the time, Kang Ha didn't believe it. He thought no student would dare go that far. But after experiencing it firsthand, he regretted not trusting his brother's words. Ryan wasn't just the leader of school violence. He controlled the school's entire hierarchy and even dealt with drugs. At Jooshin School, Ryan made the rules. Kang Ha, however, vowed to put an end to the corrupt system Ryan had built. Ryan smirked, challenging him to try. On his way back, Kang Ha clutched his late brother's bracelet, determined to seek justice. Meanwhile, a group of scholarship students conspired to eliminate Kang Ha before Ryan made them disappear from the school. One of them suggested taking action at the upcoming Healing Forest event, either scaring Kang Ha into submission or ensuring he never came back. The class president overheard their conversation. After the scholarship students left, he went straight to the principal's office. However, the principal, who was also his mother, shut down his concerns. She reminded him that his priority at Jooshin School was to build connections with the wealthy students, as they would be valuable allies in the future. The class president nodded in understanding, but couldn't shake his unease. He then asked how she had managed to cover up Kang Ha's brother's accident without any information leaking out. The principal feigned ignorance and dismissed him. Back in the classroom, Kang Ha approached the homeroom teacher, demanding an inspection of Ryan's locker, knowing it contained drugs. The teacher refused, citing privacy regulations. But Kang Ha wasn't fooled. He accused her of protecting the rich students. The teacher warned him to know his place. Kang Ha fired back. "I know my place, and I refuse to be a dog for the rich." Furious, the teacher threatened him, but Kang Ha stood firm. If she didn't cooperate, he would expose Juwon School's corruption to the press. Left with no choice, the teacher agreed. They searched Ryan's locker, and inside, they found the package of pills. However, the teacher claimed they were antidepressants, commonly used by students to cope with academic pressure. She handed them to Kang Ha, telling him he could verify it himself if he wanted. Kang Ha knew she was too confident. There was no need to check. Frustrated, he watched as she walked away. That evening, Jae-in met Hae-ra and asked her to find a hacker who could track down the anonymous sender. Hae-ra wanted to know why it was so important, and Jae-in didn't hesitate to tell the truth. Someone had a video from Woo-jin's birthday party a year ago, capturing all the wild behavior of the wealthy students. That was also the night Kang Ha's brother had his accident. Jae-in didn't know which part of the footage the mysterious sender was referring to, but the possibility terrified her. Hae-ra returned home, lost in thought. She had also done something reckless at Woo-jin's birthday party. If the footage contained everything from that night, she was in trouble. Without hesitation, she contacted someone to find a hacker. A few days later, the Healing Forest event began. Students arrived by different means. Scholarship students took the school bus, wealthy students rode in private cars, while the elite like Ryan and Woo-in arrived by plane. Even during the event, the school's hierarchy was evident. Tycoons enjoyed golf. The second tier had access to a luxurious bath and sauna, while the scholarship students were left with mountain climbing. A group of rich students placed bets on Kang Ha's fate. 2 girls believed he would survive, while 2 boys were certain he would be eliminated early on. Meanwhile, the class president led Kang Ha to his designated campsite, showing him his room. He discreetly warned Kang Ha to be careful around the scholarship students. Kang Ha smiled and thanked him, but the class president made it clear he didn't want to get close. He had been bullied before and wanted no part in any more conflicts. Kang Ha nodded in understanding as the class president walked away. Meanwhile, Jae-in and Hae-ra were in Jae-in's room. Hae-ra revealed that she had found a hacker and wanted to see the threatening messages. However, Jae-in refused, insisting that she only needed the hacker's contact information. Ha felt suspicious. Jae-in was definitely hiding something, Suddenly Woo Jin knocked on the door, inviting the two girls to join a group of tycoon friends on the rooftop garden. However, the atmosphere grew tense as no one responded. Jae-in quickly asked to leave first. Ryan grabbed her arm. "Why are you so upset?" Ryan questioned. Jae-in didn't hold back. She admitted that every time she saw Ryan's arrogant face, she couldn't stand it. Woo Jin also got up and followed Jae-in, leaving only Ryan and Ha behind. Ha looked puzzled, unaware that Ryan had actually considered Jae-in's proposal, but had instead found another girl. This made Jae-in jealous and pushed her to return. Ryan had assumed that Jae-in wouldn't change her mind so easily. But what if the girl Ryan chose was Ha? The thought lingered. Ha was interested in dating Ryan. But if she betrayed her best friend, Jae-in would never forgive her. She advised Ryan to decide quickly because Jae-in was showing signs of being drawn to Kang Ha. Ryan was left completely confused. Meanwhile, the homeroom teacher handed Kang Ha some money to buy medicine, using it as an excuse to get him away from the rich students. She didn't want any trouble. After all, she was just here to teach and earn a living. But Kang Ha didn't need an explanation. He already knew that this school was filled with cowardly adults and reckless students. As he stepped outside, Kang Ha nearly collided with Jae. Coincidentally, also needed to buy cigarettes. Without hesitation, she slid into Kang Ha's car. Unbeknownst to them, Ryan and Ha saw them together. Ha couldn't resist making sarcastic remarks, which only fueled Ryan's anger. Driving along the coastal road, Jae-in inhaled the fresh air, feeling a rare sense of peace. Her mood lightened, but it suddenly started raining heavily, causing both of them to get soaked, so they had to find shelter. This way they probably wouldn't be able to return to the campsite until evening. Jae thought that was good. Suddenly, a puppy ran up, splashing rainwater on Jae, making her suddenly burst out laughing. For the first time, Kang Ha saw Jae smiling so brightly, compliment her so beautiful. Kang Ha wondered about a girl with good conditions like Jae. Don't have to think about anything. Why not smile often? Because Jae is rich, but not happy. She was taught to control her emotions. Smiling in public will be judged, and crying will turn into a weakling. Jae also has something to ask Kang Ha. Why does someone who is often bullied like him still have so much positive energy? Kang Ha simply didn't want to be easily defeated by someone. He has to fight for himself and add a portion of the lost brother. Jae thinks that the rain cannot stop. Waiting here is not the good way. She wanted to wear the rain back to the campsite. Kang Ha hurriedly chased after her, put on a shirt for Jae to keep out the cold. The two of them walked back through the rain. When they arrived at the campsite, the weather had just stopped. Jae wanted to help Kang Ha dry his shirt, thanking him for today. Kang Ha agreed and went with Jae. Another group of scholarship students was waiting for Kang Ha to teach him a warning lesson, but after waiting for a long time, he did not return. At night, the president was extremely angry, forcing everyone to look for Kang Ha. In the evening, the teachers gathered to chat about the group of students from rich families. Perhaps it is very difficult to manage them, especially the homeroom teachers class, which gathers the 4 highest-ranked students at Jooshin School. But they are not the homeroom's concern. There are some others that are even more difficult to manage. Suddenly, Woo Jin came over, saying that the principal wanted to meet the homeroom teacher. She immediately followed Woo Jin. The other teachers were confused. Why was the principal looking for the homeroom teacher so late? Turns out it was just a trick. Woo Jin used the excuse of meeting the homeroom teacher, then invited the homeroom director to do shady things. The homeroom teacher followed Woo Jin, accidentally saw Kang Ha enter Jae's room. In room, Jae helped Kang Ha dry his clothes, turned on the TV to watch. While waiting, Kang Ha was tired and tried to borrow Jae's shoulder to fall asleep. She immediately avoided, advised Kang Ha went to bed to sleep, but Kang Ha appeared alert, leaned on her shoulder again, but this time Jae did not avoid it. She admitted that she had feelings for Kang Ha. When the two kissed at the party, Jae wanted to try again to confirm. Kang Ha immediately opened his eyes and looked straight into Jae's eyes. The two came closer to each other. Jae realized that the bracelet on Kang Ha's hand belonged to friend once helped her. Another side homeroom leader followed Woo Jin to his room, wondering about the relationship between Jae and Kang Ha. Woo Jin thought the two were not very close. After all, Kang Ha is a new transfer student, still a low class, couldn't get acquainted with Jae. So why did those two people lead each other into the room? The homeroom teacher surprised Woo Jin. Woo Jin immediately informed Ryan, making him impatient, called the principal to come to Jae's room. Everyone caught Jae and Kang Ha about to kiss. The principal immediately pulled Kang Ha up but did not dare to touch Jae. Everyone did not know what to say in this situation. The next day, Jae asked the investigator to find out Kang Ha's true identity, knowing he coming to school for another purpose. Jae wanted to find Kang Ha to ask clearly. At this time, Kang Ha came to class. His friends thought Kang Ha was from the underworld, for after last night he must surely go to hell. This made Kang Ha remember his brother even more. His hatred pushed to the peak. Later, Kang Ha was summoned to the disciplinary council. The school principal proposed to expel him because she thought that Kang Ha tainted the school's reputation. The homeroom teacher wanted Kang Ha to explain something to follow the rules, but he knew that no one would believe him, no matter what he said. The principal still shows Jooshin as the fair school, will not let students suffer injustice. Kang Ha felt extremely disgusted. Suddenly Jae appeared, explained to the jury that it was because she invited Kang Ha to the room. He did not break in on his own, and neither of them had gone beyond the limit. After speaking, Jae pulled Kang Ha up, leaving. The principal didn't have time to stop. Outside, Jae met Rian again. He had decided to date Hira. Jae also announced that from now on, she would be by Kang Ha's side. No matter who touched him, will also be Jae's enemy. Rian reminded Jae, at Jooshin School, he is still the boss, but Jae is not afraid to directly pull Kang Ha away, to a place where no one is left. Jae then wondered to Kang Ha, what was his real purpose in coming to Jooshin School? Perhaps Jae already knew everything. Kang Ha had no intention of continuing to hide it. Kang Ha went to Jooshin School, taking Jae's top position, because when he was in that position, he would enjoy many benefits, tuition, and a chance to study abroad, which in the past, no scholarship student has been able to do it. That position is always in the hands of the tycoons' children. Kang Ha wants to try to change history. Jae almost believes him, because according to the investigation documents about Kang Ha, he has no brothers in the family. The suspicion that Kang Ha came here to take revenge for the student who died a year ago is completely unfounded. On the other side, after witnessing Jae protecting Kang Ha, Rian was extremely angry in his heart, have to go to boxing to relieve himself, but kept remembering the moment Jae held Kang Ha's hand and walked in front of him. Rian became angry again, determined to make Kang Ha pay. The next day, Rian received a text message from Hira. Now the two are pretending to date, following Hira's plan, so she wanted Rian to listen to her. Pick me up for school today. Rian coldly agreed, making Hira extremely happy. She prepared to be beautiful, then went down to wait for Rian. On the other side, Jae also came to pick up Kang Ha. He was going to ride a bicycle to school. Jae gave both him and bicycles a ride in her car. Kang Ha was extremely excited on the car. It was the first time he saw someone attach a bicycle to a car. Jae had questions at that moment. Where did the bracelet on Kang Ha's hand come from? This is a friendship bracelet with band member Son Yul, who was in the band with Kang Ha performing at Jae's house party last time. Everyone in the band had bracelets like that. Finally, Jae cleared up her doubts about Kang Ha. Later, Kang Ha and Jae went to school. Saw them going to school together. Friends were talking about it. Kang Ha proactively held Jae's hand and entered, accidentally meeting the principal. She looked surprised. Jae continued to assert her sovereignty. What's wrong with you? Causing the principal to avoid a side. Homeroom teacher went to talk to the principal. The first time I saw Jae holding the hand of a boy who was not Rian in school. What tricks did Kang Ha pull? The principal vented her anger on the homeroom teacher. This is what teachers have to worry about. The homeroom teacher immediately apologized and withdrew. Then she went to the special English class, only for 4 tycoon students. But today Kang Ha is also present. Jae has arranged tuition so that Kang Ha can join her in a special class. The other 3 people are nervous. Rian still requests the homeroom teacher started the lecture. At the end of the class, Jae led Kang Ha out of the classroom. Hira was upset and said to Rian, you should do something. Rian showed don't care. Hira clung to him and acted like a babe. Rian immediately reminded that they were just pretending to date. It's best not to go over the limit. Hira had to let Rian leave. Now the students in the school began to look at Kang Ha with different eyes. Even though he only relied on Jae, there was still a difference between rich and poor. Suddenly the president ran to find Kang Ha, wanting to take him to a private room to talk. This guy directly knelt down and apologized to Kang Ha, explained that everything was forced by circumstances. If he did not make things difficult for Kang Ha, he would also be dealt with by Rian's group. Kang Ha wondered, Jae was not worth the leader's fear. Actually, president's father works in the Jae family group, and the scholarship the leader is receiving is also sponsored by the group. The leader wants Kang Ha to fight or do anything. Just please don't say bad things about him in front of Jae. Kang Ha saw the cowardly face of the leader, didn't care about him, just advised the leader one sentence, be a human, don't be a dog. Kang Ha turned around and left. The leader was scolded, so he was angry, but he couldn't resist. On the other side, the homeroom teacher secretly met Woojin. She wondered if Rian and Jae had broken up, or were they just angry and trying to anger each other. Woojin confirmed Jae's breakup, but Rian still hadn't agreed. So what is Jae and Kang Ha's relationship? Woojin thinks it's a fleeting relationship. Very soon that relationship will end. Woojin kisses the teacher to encourage her. Everything will be fine soon. What if someone sees? The teacher liked it, but still seemed shy. At this time, Kang Ha went to the locker room and discovered a note that someone had left in the closet, reminding him to be careful with Rian if he didn't want to be like his late brother. Kang Ha realized that someone knew his true identity. At that moment, Rian appeared and stole a piece of paper. Kang Ha wanted to reclaim his things. Rian directly threw it out of his hand. Other students came in. Kang Ha decided to ignore Rian. After changing, Rian went to the rugby field, accidentally met Jae here. She also came to watch competed. but pretended not to care about Rian. Jae went to the highest place in the stands, saw Kang Ha texting, make an appointment with the one to put a piece of paper in the cabinet to meet and talk. The monitor received orders to follow Kang Ha, still silently observing him. Suddenly a group of friends came over, asking how Kang Ha had seduced the goddess. He didn't know how to explain properly. In front of the enthusiastic cheers of the fans, Rian's team played hard. He actually wanted to show Jae he is an invincible person. Jae said she didn't care about Rian, but her eyes were always on him. In the end, Rian's team won. He went directly to where Hira was cheering and took the initiative to kiss her. Letting Jae saw it, she didn't show any surprise. Only Hira was extremely happy and directly kissed Rian again. After Rian's grand celebration, the students all knew he was going public new person. Hira was praised by her friends. From now on, he will be the new queen of Jooshin School. Suddenly, a male student driving a motorbike appeared in front of Hira. He was the one who secretly loved Hira. He couldn't accept the shock just now. The boy asked Hira to get into the motor. Let's go somewhere else to talk. Hira agreed to go with the male student. Later the two went to the park. The male student asked Hira why deceived him. Hira looked puzzled. What did I deceive you about? Actually, Hira had previously bet with her friends that she could lure a male student into bed. For her it was just a one-night stand, but she met the right lovesick boy. The male student has been pursuing Hira until now. She didn't respond, but he still doesn't understand. What is the reason you don't like me? Hira said she has liked someone for a long time, and this person was richer and more handsome than him. The male student couldn't say anything more, so he had to let Hira leave. She was also picked up by a bodyguard to take her home. At this time, Kang Ha arrived at the meeting place with the person who sent the note warning. It turned out to be his best friend. Kang Ha invited his best friend to the cafe to talk. The monitor was still following Kang Ha. At the cafe, his best friend apologized to Kang Ha. He had his own hardships, so he didn't dare to talk to Kang Ha at school. Kang Ha doesn't blame his best friend. He wants to find out about his brother's accident. It was a car crash and the police did not investigate anything. His best friend only knows about coming here, but he thought it was Rian's setup, so he reminded Kang Ha to be careful. Now that Kang Ha has support in Jae, he can safely investigate his brother's case. He also wants to expose the dark secret in Jooshin School, but Kang Ha can't do it alone. He wants to ask his best friend for help. His best friend is a bit scared but still agrees. He needs to approach Rian to help Kang Ha get the password of personal locker. Kang Ha suspected Rian of hiding drugs inside. This would be the perfect denunciation evidence. Kang Ha's plan with his best friend was overheard by the monitor, not knowing if the monitor was an enemy or a friend. In the evening, Rian returned to the villa, discovered Jae's car parked in front of the gate. Rian got out of the car, invited Jae into the house to talk. Jae wondered why he dragged Hira into this. She wanted Rian leaving her best friend alone. Rian repeated Jae's words. I didn't want to explain anything. Suddenly Hira called. Rian asked Hira to come to the villa, then told Jae to let Hira explain to him. Hira happily came to Rian's villa, even showing off with her best friend. Tonight will be a fiery night, but she meets Jae at the gate and quickly explains that it's not what she thought. Jae doesn't think anything and just advises Hira not to fall too deeply into Rian's game. Hira still ignored it. After Jae left, Hira went into the villa to find Rian. She was greeted by the servant. Rian was waiting in the room. Hira arrogantly walked up and turned around to look back as a queen. On the other side, after returning home, Jae received a text message from a mysterious person. He had collected all the scandalous videos and was about to hand them over to Jae's father. She felt extremely worried. Asked what the mysterious person's purpose was. Only the viewed status appeared. Suddenly someone knocked on the door. Her younger brother said her father wanted to see Jae. She immediately went to the room to find her father. Here was President Yoon announced that Jae's marriage had been arranged with the eldest son of Gang Song Group, who was preparing to return from studying abroad in the US. Jae was not ready. Her father revealed the truth. Since Jae was still in her mother's womb, her father arranged this marriage for her to serve his interests. I understand, but father interrupted Jae, asked her to just listen to the words, solve the bad rumors outside. To become the perfect daughter-in-law, Jae had to accept. The next day Jae went to school, and as soon as she walked out the gate, she saw Kang Ha stood waiting. Last time Jae came to pick up Kang Ha. Today he wanted to do the opposite. Jae climbed on Kang Ha's old bike, re-experiencing the healing feeling at the last camping trip. Kang Ha rode her bike to take Jae to a roadside restaurant. She had to eat breakfast before going to school. Kang Ha was excited, and immediately Jae poured a bucket of cold water on him. From now on you don't like me anymore. She doesn't doesn't want Kang Ha to be hurt. Jae deceived Kang Ha that she did not have feelings for him, but Kang Ha read Jae's eyes. She was feeling worried and scared. Kang Ha transmitted positive energy to Jae, but she didn't want to accept it and leave. Kang Ha turned his head to look and could only sigh. Perhaps that girl had suffered too much. In the evening, Jae invited Hira to a cafe, asking about the progress of the investigation of the mysterious person. Hackers cannot verify account holders, could only find the IP of the person sending the message. Jae wanted to proceed quickly. Hira pretended to cry and apologize to Jae, saying that due to forced circumstances, she was afraid Rian would do something terrible. Happened after breaking up with Jae, so she agreed to be Rian's temporary lover. Jae did not accept. Anyone was fine but not Hira. She is Jae's best friend. Moreover, it's not Rian's style. He's just taking advantage of Hira. Don't get caught up in Rian's games anymore. After reminding Jae stood up to leave. Hira looked uncomfortable. If it wasn't style, then I gradually changed. Another side, Kang Ha went with the band to the school prom party. This is a party only for rich families. Students on scholarships are not allowed to participate. Kang Ha can still come by becoming a musician and can also make money. Inside, Kang Ha meets Jae. Today you are so beautiful. Kang Ha always says sweet words, always has a smile on his lips, but Jae always feels that behind that smile there is some secret. Kang Ha confirmed that there was none. Jae left in disbelief. The main character of the party appeared. The owner of the Jooshin Tycoon group, Rian, and his mother were warmly welcomed. The party officially started. Rian's mother went to the podium to invite wine, wish everyone a happy evening. Kang Ha focused on playing the piano. The Tycoon's children also each had a job. The party would be an opportunity to help them expand their relationship. Then Hira's father came to his daughter and led her out to talk. He knew Hira and Jae were close friends and wanted to ask his daughter to connect with President Yoon to call for investment in an important project. Just as Jae passed by, Hira called her to convey his father's message, but Jae directly refused. Hira quickly followed Jae into the bathroom. Why did you ignore me? Jae frankly refused Hira, then went out first, leaving Hira in a difficult mood. Outside, Rian went to start talking to Jae, complimented her so beautiful. Jae had heard this a lot, so she didn't care. But Hira stood aside thinking, although she and Rian were on a date, but Hira will never win his love. Looking at Rian and Jae's family talking, Hira's father is not on the same level to stand on the side. Her heart becomes even more resentful. Kang Ha struck the piano hard, pushing anger to a climax. Hira decided to do something. She pulled Kang Ha in front of President Yoon, introducing him as Jae's boyfriend, is a scholarship student, making everyone around extremely surprised. Kang Ha didn't know what to say. Jae froze in place, facing a cold look from her father. Kang Ha stood up to take responsibility, but was immediately reminded by Jae's father that there was no place for him to speak. The party ended after a series of dramas. In the morning, Rian, on the way home, remembered the time he caused Kang Ha brothers' accident. He showed no mercy. After committing the crime, Rian put the car with broken windows in the garage so that no one could discover the clues. Returning to reality, Rian did not repent at all. Unexpectedly, his mother called to ask if he was home yet. As soon as the party ended, Rian's mother booked the earliest flight abroad. She told her son to take good care of himself and listen to what the butler arranged to become a worthy heir of the Jooshin group. But Rian did not like that kind of life. As soon as he got home, he was immediately urged by her housekeeper to go to school. The class schedule spread from morning to night. Rian was extremely resentful. I'm just human. The butler is like a programmed machine. I am doing what the landlady tells me so that you become the most perfect person. Rian angrily went to his room. Later, he went to Woo Jin's house to beg for one meal. Rian's lifelong dream was to eat the rice his mother cooked for once, but he had to let Woo Jin's mother do it for him. Woo Jin's parents let the two of them stay to confide. Only then did Rian confide in Woo Jin. He feels that he and Jae are inherently a couple. He cannot live without Jae. This makes Woo Jin a bit scared, advising Rian not to do anything rash. Rian is just worried about Jae. Don't know how she will be after last night. Jae's side is being taught by her father. You must know your own position. Don't foolishly change everything for a few lowly people. The younger brother also took the opportunity to tease Jae, but father immediately interrupted him with a warning. I'm also talking about you. Shut up and listen. Her younger brother quickly left in fear. Jae began to explain to her father that she only pitied Kang Ha and became his support at school. Her father reminded Jae of the price of pity. The boy's life wasn't it enough before. Jae was worried and immediately apologized to her father, promising to stay away from Kang Ha. Her father allowed Jae to return to her room. Outside, her younger brother was waiting for Jae, blamed for her, so he was scolded by father. Jae reminded younger brother to be careful with his mouth. Trouble comes from the mouth. Younger brother reminded Jae of the contract they signed. Don't forget what he has in his hand. friend. Jae immediately lowered her ego. In the evening, the best friend took Kang Ha to the dressing room. He already had the password to Ryeon's personal locker. After his best friend successfully unlocked it, Kang Ha discovered that there was a photo of Jae in the locker, but it was not having to take a photo with Ryeon, but with Kang Ha's brother. Didn't expect Jae to smile so brightly before. Maybe the time she was with Kang Ha's brother was the happiest time, without having to worry about being the eldest daughter of a tycoon. The next day, the students went to school normally. Just seeing Ryeon stepping out of the car, Hee-ra immediately rushed to him. The other female students saw Hee-ra's intention to confront Jae. She chose Ryeon as a shield. Kang Ha came to Jae and asked about the previous night. Jae was fine. She also wanted to apologize to Kang Ha for her father's insulting actions. Kang Ha did not pay any attention. Jae reminded Kang Ha to stay away from gossip and left. Kang Ha asked if she still had feelings for Ryeon. Jae was extremely angry and said that there were things he shouldn't know too much. Kang Ha smiled again. Whether his guess was right or wrong, Kang Ha wants to officially date Jae, helps her forget Ryeon. I want to see your happy smile. The words remind Jae of Kang Ha's brother. Both are similar in a way strange, but Jae is afraid of the tragedy happening again. She doesn't want Kang Ha to enter her world. We are too different. Kang Ha should just live in his happy world, and Jae will stay in her world. Left her world until she had enough strength. After speaking, Jae turned around and left, leaving Kang Ha deep in thought. On the other hand, Woo Jin and the homeroom teacher entered the room together again. As soon as they finished, Woo Jin received the phone call. He quickly left. The homeroom teacher got jealous. Do you not love me at all? A fuckboy like Woo Jin doesn't even know what love is. He gave the homeroom teacher a Hermes bag. Then no matter how jealous she was, the homeroom teacher happily took the designer bag to show it around the school. Unfortunately, she bumped into Jae, and she forced Jae to apologize. Today the homeroom teacher was really bold, even dared to lecture Jae in front of everyone. But a branded bag cannot cover up poverty. Jae's words immediately made the homeroom teacher pale. Jae left with disdain. At this time the principal returned to the office. Just as her son walked out, the principal asked the monitor what he was doing here. He had forgotten something, but looking at his expression was very unusual. The principal knew the monitor was hiding something. He hurriedly said that there was a lesson, asked mother for permission to leave first. Then the monitor came to the library, taught Kang Ha best friend to do his homework. The monitor asked about the relationship between his and Kang Ha. He still intended to hide it, was immediately exposed by the monitor. I saw two people at the cafe. Kang Ha's best friend was forced to confess everything. The monitor promised to keep it a secret for him. At this time, Kang Ha received an anonymous text message containing a video of Kang Ha's brother being bullying. He was extremely angry when he saw it. Suddenly Hee-ra appeared and wanted Kang Ha to thank her for helping him meet Jae's father. You must knew it was difficult for others to talk to President Yoon, but Kang Ha knows that Hee-ra wants to make Jae feel awkward. Hee-ra tells Kang Ha the truth. Maybe he also heard about the male student who had an accident a year ago. Who do you think is the culprit? Kang Ha confirmed it was Ryeon, but Hee-ra denied it. Ryeon was the heir to the Jooshin group. It was normal to be angry and accidentally stab someone. The one who was really at fault was Jae, because she pitying that male student, allowing him to interfere in the life of a group of tycoon friends, which caused the male student to receive a tragic end. Hee-ra reminded Kang Ha, your situation is no different from that male student, so know early that it will be difficult to retreat. After saying that Hee-ra left, Kang Ha's heart was miserable. Just as Hee-ra said, Jae was the biggest cause of his brother's death. At this time everyone was in class. Suddenly, Jae received a text message. The mysterious person knew she was going abroad, not giving Jae more time to think. This guy sent a video attached the message line. Haha was very long. Jae quickly ran out in worry. Kang Ha and Ryeon chased after her. Hee-ra wanted to keep Ryeon but couldn't. Unexpectedly, there were two people posting the text message including Woo Jin, and the teacher saw Jae walking past. The teacher with a sinister smile. Kang Ha chased after, but was held back by Ryeon. He told Kang Ha that the reason Jae was so worried was because of the president. Yoon knows that Kang Ha and Jae's relationship is like a time bomb. It can destroy Jae's feelings at any time. The best way is for Kang Ha to leave Jae. Don't think rich people don't have to endure pressure. You don't know what we have had to endure. Ryeon's eyes turned cold. Kang Ha also looked straight at him without blinking. Then two male students ran over. They will replace Ryeon to deal with Kang Ha. Did you guys do the same to the male student a year ago? The other three immediately froze. Kang Ha forced a smile, forgetting that Jooshin School forbids students from talking about that. Ryeon approached and asked Kang Ha who he was. To answer that question, Ryeon went to Woo Jin, asked him to investigate Kang Ha. Normally scholarship students are very afraid of Ryeon. Only Kang Ha was not afraid. Something even more terrifying helped him overcome fear. Woojin promised to help Rian investigate in detail. On the other side, Hee-ra made an appointment to meet Jae, help her with the last thing as a friend. The hacker has found the location of the mysterious person who sent the message, which is from Jooshin School. From now on, Hee-ra and Jae will end their friendship. Just because of a man, Hee-ra admits to Jae that she has liked Rian since kindergarten, but Rian had feelings for Jae. She decided to give him up. Hee-ra openly fought for Rian. Jae immediately asked to withdraw. Jae only blames Hee-ra was too blind. Knowing that Rian was taking advantage of her, she still tried to rush in. If the two of them were still friends, Jae would definitely beat Hee-ra to wake her up. But now she doesn't have that right anymore. Jae left Hee-ra behind. On the way back, Hee-ra remembered the memories of when she was a child, then grew up with Jae, suddenly shed tears, not knowing whether the choice to leave her friend for a boy was right or wrong. On the other side, Jae returned home. Her father had arranged an appointment with President Park and the eldest child, who would also be Jae's future husband. She did not want to disobey her father's words, so she could only nod in agreement, making President Yoon extremely satisfied. Then he took his daughter to a blind date. The groom's family was extremely pleased with Jae because Jae is a beautiful and calm girl. President Yoon also feels that the other person is suitable for his daughter, a person with great working ability. Both sides talk happily. Only Jae feels uncomfortable. She hid in the bathroom. When going out, this man starts talking. I didn't see you say anything. He wanted to invite Jae to go for a walk and talk, but Jae received a text message from a mysterious person. Immediately tried to hide first. The mysterious person sent Jae a photo of a pregnancy test with 2 lines, making Jae extremely stunned. Just when this man came to ask about her, Jae immediately vomited on him. The matter of wedding, perhaps this is where it ends. On the other side, Woojin asked the homeroom teacher to get Kang Ha's file, then bring it to Rian. Absolutely nothing unusual, but Rian still feels confused. Woojin reassure him, a scholarship student like Kang Ha won't be able to cause any trouble. Rian still feels worried. The next day, Rian came to class and discovered Jae was absent from school. He couldn't concentrate on his studies. Kang Ha was more proactive. When he didn't see Jae come to class, he went to her house to look for her, but couldn't get into the villa, so he could only wait outside. But for several days, Jae still hadn't appeared, so Rian angrily came to find Kang Ha, thinking he knew what happened to Jae. Kang Ha didn't want to answer. Maybe he didn't know either. Rian turned around and left. Only Hee-ra is smart. Asking family members about things is clear. She asked someone to arrange an appointment with Jae's younger brother, and quickly found out useful information. Then Hee-ra brought the story to Woojin. After the blind date a few days ago, Jae was confined to the resort, waiting for the day to go to New York. President Yoon wants his daughter to disappear. Hee-ra warns Woojin not to tell this story to Rian. Hee-ra has a plan. Woojin curiously asked Hee-ra what she wanted to do. She sat directly on Woojin. Am I pretty today? Woojin closed his eyes and waited, but Hee-ra just kissed his cheek. This proved yes. Hee-ra quickly left. Woojin could only laugh helplessly. Then Hee-ra went to Rian's villa, sprayed fragrant perfume, and walked inside. Rian was worriedly calling, and Jae did not pick up. Hee-ra came to report the news to Rian. Jae is about to go to New York. Rian and Jae's love story has ended. Hee-ra wants to ask Rian to give her a chance, but Rian wants to go to the resort villa to find Jae. It turns out Rian has discovered that Kang Ha and the male student he murdered were brothers. At this time, Kang Ha received a message from Hee-ra, directing him to where Jae was being detained. Kang Ha followed the directions to the resort villa. Indeed, Jae is here. She chased Kang Ha back, but he deliberately followed inside. Kang Ha wanted to know what happened, to see if there was a way to get Jae out of here. She still chased. Kang Ha returns. You can't help. Kang Ha is still stubborn. Then I'll be here so you won't be lonely. Jae can't keep calm, confessing that she's being threatened. Kang Ha wonders about the reason. She said, because I had killed one person. Jae emotionally said that person's name. Kang Ha also admitted to Jae the person she just mentioned was his brother. The two looked at each other, not knowing what to say. Jae remembered the time met Kang Ha's brother, because Kang Ha's brother accidentally threw the ball and soiled Rian's shirt. Although Rian just threw the shirt back and left, Kang Ha's brother was still being taught by his classmates. He ran away in fear and was chased by a group of friends. Kang Ha's brother had to escape to the library. He accidentally caught Jae and her younger brother arguing, and her younger brother used it. Hot photo threatens Jae, forcing her to hand over the inherited assets. Otherwise, he will tell father about Jae sleeping with a strange guy. His younger brother despises Jae and her biological mother, that the corporation must be in his and stepmother's hands. Jae was both angry and worried. If dad really knew about that, her wouldn't be at peace. After Jae's younger brother left, Kang Ha's older brother dared to appear. He gave her the candy, comforted Jae, and then sat in a corner silently observing. Seeing Jae burst into tears because of watching the movie, Kang Ha's brother realized that she was not a cold and emotionless person like the rumors about Jooshin School Queen. Gradually, Kang Ha's brother gathered courage to be by Je. She also happily considered Kang Ha brother a good friend. Unfortunately, their story was discovered by Rian. He considered Kang Ha's brother a thorn in his eyes, so he murdered this guy. Returned in reality, Kang Ha knew the truth from Je. She blamed Kang Ha for approaching her from the beginning, for having a purpose. Kang Ha did not deny that he initially suspected that anyone in the school could be the murderer, include Je. The more he learned about Kang Ha, the more he believed that Je did not do it. Kang Ha's feelings for Je were also sincere, but he still had a promise to his late brother, must expose the truth about his death. Kang Ha asked Je for help. Tell me all the truth. Je tried to avoid it. Kang Ha held her back. Then suddenly Rian appeared. Give Kang Ha a fight. Now Rian also knows everything. You want to avenge your brother. Keeps targeting me. Leave Je alone. If you don't want to be like your brother. Kang Ha angrily fought back against Rian. Both sides rushed into battle. During the battle, Kang Ha fell into a weak position and could only defend, reminding Je of Kang Ha's brother. He was also tortured to death by Rian. Je was scared and shouted to stop. Rian, through Kang Ha, went out, then ran to hug Je. Kang Ha could only stand and watch. The next day, Kang Ha was called to the principal because couldn't do anything to him. The school arranged for Kang Ha to receive a full scholarship at another school, but Kang Ha did not accept it. Graduating first class at Jooshin would be noticed by prestigious universities. Moreover, he also had a full scholarship here. The principal was extremely angry. Kang Ha will ruin Jooshin school. Every time see him, the students will remember the late Kang Ha brother. The principal threatened to expel him, but Kang Ha was not afraid but challenged her. There was no reason for the school to expel someone with top achievements like him because he was a poor boy. The school principal asked the teacher to expel the teacher on the grounds that Kang Ha threatened the teacher. Kang Ha was extremely pleased. Whether or not he threatened, the recording will be evidence. Inside there are also words degrading the students' honor from the principal. She forced to let go of Kang Ha. On the other side, Rian discussed with Woo Jin how to handle Kang Ha. Now Je will have nothing to do with Kang Ha anymore. Just do it the way 1 year ago. Then Rian can be with Je. Woo Jin is worried about Hera. Aren't the two of them dating? Rian knows Woo Jin has feelings for Hera, wanting Woo Jin to take care of Hera for him. On the other side, Je was brought home by her dating objects. Soon, both of them will go to America together. But he has already been invaded to arbitrarily touch Je. She patiently got out of the car. Rian was waiting in front of the gate, leading Je to the lake to talk. Rian reminded Je to be careful with Kang Ha from now on. Je said that the person she needs to be careful with is Rian. You are a tyrant, but the devil will sacrifice the whole world to protect you. Je doesn't need anyone to protect because soon she will go to America. Forget everything here. Rian will to not let that happen. Je reminded Rian that they had broken up. No matter where they were, the two of them no longer had a chance. But Rian affirmed that he would only love Je. He will do everything to get Je back, even if it means going to hell. Je advises Rian not to be blind. This love story will not have a good outcome for them and the people around them. After finishing speaking, Je left Rian behind and left, but he had made up his mind and would not change. Later, Je returned home and saw Hera happily laughing with her younger brother. She even pretended to be close to Je, causing her younger brother to be sarcastic. Hera sent an invitation to Je to go to a farewell party. As an old friend, she should also organize one for Je's small party. Je extremely disdainfully said that this was a celebration party, which was not too much. Hera directly admitted that this was a celebration party to send Je off on her journey, giving her a chance to be with Rian. Hera confessed her love to Rian, hoping Je wouldn't do anything to hinder her while waiting for the results. Je blessed them both. Maybe she wouldn't be able to go to the party because it coincided with the flight time before farewell. Je wanted to hug Hera one last time, thank you and apologize to you. Hera was extremely awkward. Last time she also shed tears. Maybe they both really see each other as good friends. In the morning the bullies came to find Kang Ha's best friend. Knowing that he was hiding identity, the bullies were extremely angry. Kang Ha's best friend has a reputation for being the son of a tycoon, but his mother is prostitute. His biological father only welcomed his son back, forced his to attend Jooshin school. He came from such a background and was also Kang Ha's middle school friend. How could the bullies let him go? Luckily, Kang Ha appeared to rescue his best friend, then fought with the bullies. Kang Ha couldn't fight them, but no one in the class cared. The teacher who passed by saw him and ignored them. The monitor, unable to hold back anymore, he quickly pulled Kang Ha's best friend and ran ahead. Kang Ha also took the opportunity to escape outside. Kang Ha apologized to his best friend for putting him in danger. Kang Ha promised not to let this happen again. His best friend angrily said how Kang Ha would change the hidden rules of Jooshin school. His best friend advised Kang Ha to stop and transfer to another school. His best friend wanted to study at Jooshin School in peace and follow his biological father's wishes. If Kang Ha still decided to take revenge, he would not dare to help any further. In the evening, the monitor hid in room and took out his personal laptop. Unexpectedly, during the pastime, he had collected a lot of data containing dark secrets of Jooshin School, drug trafficking, and the official teacher having sex with students, bullying classmates, including Jae-yee's sex scene video. It turns out the class president is the mysterious person. He gives Jae-yee a warning. She has to stay until the plan ends, making Jae-yee extremely confused. She accidentally bumped into the monitor. He apologized, but Jae-yee was not in the mood to care. After walking a little further, Jae-yee met Kang Ha again. She led Kang Ha to a private room. We'll tell him all the truth about his brother's accident. On the day Woojin celebrated his birthday 1 year ago, Kang Ha's older brother was also present because he was bullied by his classmates. He ran into the street and was hit by a car. Jae-yee admits that she is guilty of herself. If she hadn't been friends with Kang Ha's brother, he won't be hated by his classmates. Kang Ha thinks it's all Rian's orders, but Jae-yee is protective of Rian. Unexpectedly, she still has feelings for Rian. Jae-yee told Kang Ha a secret. There was someone threatening Jae-yee at school. She went to America, and everything would end, but she was afraid that Rian would stay and suffer all the hurt. Jae-yee wanted to ask Kang Ha to find the mysterious person. Kang Ha also wanted to meet and shake hands with that person, because they both had the same goal. Jae-yee used his tears to evoke sympathy. Didn't he promise to protect her? If so, Kang Ha should help Jae-yee protect. Add Rian. Although she knows she's selfish, but Jae-yee can't trust anyone but Kang Ha. You're so cruel, Jae-yee. How can Kang Ha help the enemy? He sadly left. Outside the school gate, Woojin came to pick up Hira. The homeroom teacher was also there waiting for Woojin. Saw him with another girl. She immediately called Woojin, but he immediately hung up, making Hira feel suspicious. Are you dating someone? Woojin quickly denied it. A girl's intuition is never wrong. But I like Hira. She thought Woojin was joking, but this was the truth. Woojin still had to force a smile to hide. It's true, I was just joking. He didn't feel happy at all. Woojin took Hira to the house. There were several black cars in front of the gate. Hira ran inside to check and found that the furniture was all sealed. Dad still left. The last gift was the dress he bought for Hira to go to the party tonight. Hira looked for her mother to ask what happened. She just hugged Hira and cried and apologized to her daughter. Our family has gone bankrupt. At this time, a group of students on scholarship came to find Kang Ha. They are invited to Jae's farewell party, thinking that there was a conspiracy in this matter. Perhaps the rich people wanted to use them as entertainment. Kang Ha advised everyone to go to the party. They must fight bravely to avoid being trampled on by the children of rich families. Suddenly, the principal appeared. This is a special classroom. Students on scholarship are not allowed here. She angrily kicked them all out. They immediately did not dare to stay. Kang Ha looked at the principal with contemptuous eyes. Surely the school was ruined due to people like her. On the other side of the family broke up with Jae-yee, sent her off to the airport to go to America. The younger brother came to tease Jae-yee for losing everything, and he also wished his sister not to come back. Jae-yee was angry but still had to hold back and leave. The night the farewell party took place, it was actually the party where Hira was crowned queen after Jae-yee left. Hira came to Rian's side, a perfect stepping stone. However, today Hira dressed very simply, but Woojin was still felt she very beautiful. He told Hira that today he would make the most important decision of his life. Hira did not paying attention, but only concerned about why Rian hasn't come yet. Suddenly Kang Ha appears. The suit makes him different from usual. Hira feels that this is the appearance of a tycoon's son, but in reality he is still poor guy. Kang Ha happily joined everyone. The monitor calmly still liked to hide in a corner and observe. Suddenly he received a text message from Kang Ha. Where did you get those videos? Kang Ha knew the class president is a mysterious person. Walking to his side, Kang Ha advised the monitor not to panic. The reason Kang Ha discovered this secret was because he found the monitor's keychain when visiting his brother's grave. Kang Ha was also revealed by his close friend about the monitor's strange actions. The monitor admitted his identity is mysterious person. He wondered what Kang Ha wanted to know. Kang Ha needed all the videos the class president was holding to expose the dark side of Jooshin School. At this time, the classmates received messages on their phones. Jae's date object has just been taken away at the airport for drug use. It was all Rian's plan to bring Jae back. Just as a luxury car entered the party, Rian and Jae stepped down, holding hands to assert sovereignty. Now we will go back. This was also the answer for Hira, making her extremely disappointed. Rian looked at Kang Ha, advising him to also don't continue to dream about Jae. This is a declaration of war. Kang Ha is not afraid at all. At the end of the party, Hira chased after Rian. Why did you treat me like that? Hira was still angry with Jae. At this moment, Jae ruined a good thing for her. Rian and Jae advised. Hira calmed down, asked Woojin to take Hira home. She declared that she would take revenge for today's disgrace. Rian don't care, let Jae go ahead. Hira could not calm down and was immediately held by Woojin. After that, he also brought Hira back. Misfortunes continuously befell. Hira, the villa was confiscated. Now she can only temporarily live in an apartment. Living in a cramped room for the first time made Hira felt uncomfortable. On the other side, the homeroom teacher was betrayed by Woo Jin, so she decided to take revenge on him. The homeroom teacher took the car that caused the accident and kept it in the garage, then drove somewhere. At this time, Ryeon took Jae back to the villa and prepared a simple meal for her. Jae sat down and talked to Ryeon, wanted him to apologize to Kang Ha, even though he didn't know who caused Kang Ha's brother accident, but Ryeon and Jae also had a part of responsibility. They created the hierarchy in Jooshin School that led to Kang Ha's brother, and the poor student were being bullied. The two of them had just reconciled and were tense again. Ryeon had never had to apologize before. It wasn't as difficult as you thought, but Ryeon was determined not to do it. Jae also felt helpless. In the morning, his mother came to find Woo Jin, announcing that his father was about to run for president and would have support from Jae's family. Woo Jin wondered why it wasn't Jooshin Group. His mother got proof that Jae went to the maternity hospital. Jae's family was forced to help run the election, otherwise this matter would be exposed. At school, Jae accidentally met Kang Ha again, but just as the class president came to find Kang Ha, took him away. The homeroom teacher approached Jae and teased her about her taste in scholarship students, but it didn't end well. Jae said it's better than an old buffalo that likes to graze on young grass. The homeroom teacher was very angry but couldn't do anything. Jae also ignored her and left. In the hallway, Jae discovered Kang Ha walking with a group of students. Scholarship. He gathered weak people who were bullied to fight back against the rich kids. But in school there was an unwritten rule. Poor students had to be trampled on. They received funding from the rich, so they had to thank for that. So do you guys like to be dogs or humans? If we have to live like that cowardly, our honor will be trampled on. If this society loses its honor, it will not be able to continue to exist. Kang Ha admits that he is taking advantage of everyone to avenge his brother, but he also wants to build a fair school so that students can develop freely. Everyone agreed to try with Kang Ha once. Then Kang Ha and the monitor discussed the plan. The monitor told Kang Ha that every action must be careful because all students are the school watched. The videos that the monitor had were stolen from the computer in the principal's office. The monitor proposed to attack the highest level in the school, is the top generation of tycoons. Ryeon and Jae were the first goal. Post the relationship video of those two people online to solve the problem. But Kang Ha doesn't agree. The monitor knows that he has feelings for Jae. If we are soft-hearted, we will lose. All scholarship students will be implicated. Kang Ha must choose love or ideals. On the other hand, Jae comes to meet Woo Jin. He's upset because he couldn't call Hira. Woo Jin blames Jae. Her decision affects everyone. If Jae doesn't break up with Ryeon and choose to be with Kang Ha, Hira did not find a chance with Ryeon. Woo Jin was not in a difficult situation, choosing to side with Hira or Ryeon. The four people had a happy time, but 1 year ago, because Jae came to Kang Ha's brother, the relationship is getting worse and worse. Jae knows her mistake and apologizes. She will try to save her relationship with everyone before leaving. Jae also reminded Woo Jin, please make the right choice between Hira and the homeroom teacher. This makes him extremely worried. He calls, but Hira doesn't answer the phone. She was on way to an appointment with a lovesick boy. Agrees give him a chance. The amorous male student is extremely excited. Just at the same time, Jae's younger brother is also present. He's a bit disappointed because he can't send his sister off to America, but Jae's younger brother still keeps a terrible secret. Wanted to show Hira. After watching, Hira went outside, slapped Jae's younger brother in the face, cursed him for being an immoral younger brother, with daring to secretly film his sister's hot scenes, and even sent it to his sister's rival. Hira is a bad girl, but a bad girl with morals. She didn't do anything like releasing this clip. Jae's younger brother could only get angry and curse the sky. Hira left angrily. Unexpectedly, she shed tears again when she learned that Jae was treated so miserably by her younger brother. At this time, Jae went to look for Kang Ha, saw him kindly helping the old woman, and happily playing with water guns with the group Childish. Jae appeared in front of Kang Ha. There was something he wanted to tell him. The two of them went to the park to sit on the swings. Jae wanted to know why Kang Ha always had positive energy, even though he wasn't rich and was often treated poorly by his classmates. Kang Ha don't know the reason. He just feels that if he lives a happy and useful life, he will bring joy to many people around him. Jae feels jealous of Kang Ha. He encourages Jae. Really, there is always positive energy around you. Close your eyes and feel it. Even if you have to endure a lot of pain and suffering tomorrow, the sky will be blue again. Later, Kang Ha saw off Jae back. He told Jae that he had found the person who sent the threatening message. Jae wanted to know what that person's purpose was. Their purpose was the same. shame. They all wanted to give justice to the arrested students' bullying, causing the person who incited violence in the school to receive punishment. Kang Ha has found the bow. Now he just needs to stretch the bowstring to destroy the hierarchical system in Jooshin School, returning everyone to a peaceful life. He hoped Jae-hee will not be hurt, but Jae-hee won't protect someone. If you want to hit Rian, Kang Ha's arrow must first pass through Jae-hee. In the end, the two still have to confront. In the evening, the homeroom teacher arranged to meet Woo Jin, bring him the car that caused the accident. The two went to the bar to talk. Woo Jin knew the homeroom teacher was jealous. She also admitted that she had feelings for him, not a normal sexual relationship. Woo Jin reminded her not to forget her identity. She knows she not worthy of Woo Jin. The person worthy of you is Hee-ra. Those words made Woo Jin angry. Advised the homeroom teacher not to speculate nonsense. This attitude confirmed that she was right. She was carrying the keys to the car that caused the accident. Angrily, leave. Woo Jin wants her to leave the key, but she did not agree because this was a life-saving treasure. Woo Jin reminded her that as long as she was next to him, she would be safe. She didn't believe it. Woo Jin announced to stop. She would be confirmed. It soon. She was angry and left, leaving Woo Jin upset. At this time, Jae-hee and her father went into the mountains to hunt. President Yoon instructed his daughter how to accurately identify the prey. Don't hesitate to attack. Sympathy will rob you of your chance. But Jae-hee can't shoot. She can't bear to kill the lovely rabbit. From now on, Jae-hee also doesn't want to went hunting. Her father thought that Jae-hee did not listen. She directly argued that from now on, Jae-hee wanted to live her own life, but President Yoon did not agree. As long as blood still flowed in her veins, Jae-hee still had to performing her duty as a daughter because her father is the one who gave her life. President Yoon pointed the gun at Jae-hee to warn, then aimed to shoot in another direction. Jae-hee aimed at him but did not dare to pull the trigger. She angrily left the hunting ground. On the other side, Rian was studying English, suddenly receiving a text message containing a sensitive video of him with Jae-hee. Rian was angry and immediately gathered all the human resources, had to quickly find the person who sent the message, and at the same time, not let anyone know about it. Everyone immediately deployed the order. In the morning, Jae-hee saw the news. Hee-ra's family went bankrupt. Everyone in class was also talking about it. Jae-hee went to class to look for Hee-ra, but she didn't go to school. Suddenly, Rian appeared and pulled Jae-hee out. He told Jae-hee that someone was secretly filming their hot scene. Rian promised to take care of everything smoothly so that Jae-hee wouldn't be hurt. He hugs Jae-hee to comfort her. On the other side, Kang Ha goes to see the principal, giving her one last chance to rectify Jooshin School. The principal still appears indifferent. Kang Ha claims to have evidence in hand. If the principal did not comply with the request, he would blow up the entire Jooshin School. The principal still smirked disdainfully, went outside the monitor, grabbed Kang Ha because he acted without warning. Why did he threaten the principal? Kang Ha told the monitor that the masterminds who caused everything were the teachers who tolerated the students' evil actions. The monitor thought that it was because Kang Ha wanted to protect Jae-hee that he didn't follow the plan. The monitor was angry because he knew Kang Ha was taking advantage of him. Suddenly, Jae-hee appeared. Actually, the mysterious person was the monitor. He was extremely worried. Kang Ha took Jae-hee out to talk. It seemed like you had already started the plan. Kang Ha directly admitted it. Jae-hee advised him to stop. She would solve the problem herself. Admitting everything and publicly apologizing to everyone, Jae-hee knew what consequences she would face, but she still wanted to protect Rian. Kang Ha wanted to know why Jae-hee was stubborn, because for her Rian is life. He is the same to me. Kang Ha was extremely miserable. He still decided to follow his ideals, although everyone involved will be hurt. Kang Ha wants the next generation of Jooshin School to have a bright future. He leaves Jae-hee behind to leave. Jae-hee wants to reveal one more secret to Kang Ha. I was pregnant with Rian. Jae-hee went to America many times to have an abortion, but couldn't bear it. In the end, because of the pressure, she had a miscarriage. Kang Ha wondered if Rian knew about this. Jae-hee shook her head. She tried trying to find a way to avoid Rian, even break up with him, hoping to overcome the obsession of losing her child, but Kang Ha shows up to investigate his brother's accident, which inadvertently evokes Jae-hee's past, causing her to fall into misery again. Kang Ha knew he was sorry for Jae-hee, suddenly shed tears. Jae-hee also declared to Kang Ha that she would listen to his teachings, do what she like. Jae-hee wants is to protect Rian. She will block the violent wave Kang Ha created, making him extremely miserable. On the other hand, Woo Jin finds Hee-ra's residence and advises her back to school. Hee-ra has decided to quit school because now she doesn't deserve to go to Jooshin School. Woo Jin wants to help Hee-ra, but what status does he use? So be my person. Woo Jin wants to be with Hee-ra to take revenge on the people she hates. He will act as the prince to silently assist Hee-ra. However, Hee-ra still decides to write an application to leave school. Jae-hee criticizes Hee-ra for being someone who only knows how to hide. Hee-ra asked Jae-hee to take care of herself. She was extremely angry. Why did you only suffer alone? Jae-hee did not understand what Hee-ra said. She angry got up and left. Then Hee-ra came to find Rian and cursed him for being an idiot. Hee-ra told the story of the leaked clip. Rian also knew about that, but he couldn't guess who filmed it. That That villa belonged to Jae's family. Guess how many people were able to get in and out? After listening to Hira's suggestion, Rion knew who was secretly filming. He led his troops to the locker room, chased all the students out, just kept Jae's younger brother there. Rion directly beat Jae's younger brother so he couldn't breathe. The students standing outside didn't dare to stop him. Kang Ha appeared and rushed in to force Rion to stop. Jae's younger brother asked Kang Ha to put his dirty hands away and ran away. Rion vented his anger at Kang Ha. Why do you like to take care of other people's affairs? Kang Ha reminded Rion if he hit Jae's younger brother, who suffered the anger from Chairman Yoon. Besides Jae, who else would come in here? Kang Ha angrily cursed at Rion. He didn't know what Jae had to go through. In addition to using a fist to solve the problem, the head is only for hair growth. Kang Ha cursed Rion to wake up. He wondered what Kang Ha wanted to say, but Kang Ha promised Jae to keep it a secret. He made his wish to the enemy. Please protect Jae well. Although they are on opposite sides, they both care for one person. In the evening, Hira returns home. In the past, when she used to go by car, now has to take the bus. Students crowded seats. Hira had to wait for the next bus. When she returned home, unexpectedly Jae was here. Hira thought Jae was coming to laugh at her, but Jae wanted to restore their friendship. She had never considered Hira an enemy before. Suddenly, Hira received a call from her father. The company has been sponsored by Jae's family group. Now it can revive. Hira can only thank Jae, but to get Chairman Yoon's approval, Jae had to make a trade-off. She agreed to go to America and follow all of her father's arrangements. Jae happily said goodbye to Hira, making her feel disappointed. Later, Jae returned home, saw Rion waiting at the door, and immediately went down car and go with him. The two went to the lake to confide. Rion knew everything, cried and asked why Hira hit him. Why does she have to suffer alone? Jae didn't want Rion was hurt too. Rion hugged Jae and apologized, promising not to leave her alone from now on. Jae was moved to tears. On the other side, the monitor sat and remembered the time he was bullied. Only Kang Ha's older brother came to comfort him, so that his departure wouldn't be meaningless. The monitor decided to take revenge, posting a video of Rion and Jae's hot scenes online. Suddenly, Kang Ha appeared to rob his phone. This is not a legitimate way of revenge. Just the number of videos the monitor holds can change the situation at Jooshin School without necessarily harming others. But the monitor affirms that that is not enough to make the tycoons pay the price. There must be a sensational news that knocks out their roots. Have you forgotten the purpose of going to school? Kang Ha immediately froze. On the other side, Rion came to find Woo Jin in tears, continuously falling. Rian knew that Jae had to go abroad, feeling extremely sad. Woo Jin hugged Rian to comfort him. Actually, Woo Jin was the one who convinced President Yoon to let Jae go to America, otherwise Jae's pregnancy will be made public. On Woo Jin's birthday, 1 year ago, the homeroom teacher wanted to give Woo Jin a gift. Unfortunately, they were seen by Kang Ha's brother. The homeroom teacher quickly ran to explain, but Kang Ha's brother refused to stop. Woo Jin discovered that the bullies were also looking for Kang Ha's brother, so he stopped them to help the homeroom teacher. She jogged and couldn't get a car to chase Kang Ha's brother. He was scared and called Kang Ha, but Kang Ha never answered the phone. The homeroom teacher chased Kang Ha's brother to an alley. Unfortunately, she bumped into him. Kang Ha's brother flew into an iron bar and died. Only now did Kang Ha pick up the phone, but after calling for a while, but no one responded, the homeroom teacher carefully went to check, discovered a pen with a hidden camera in Kang Ha's brother's pocket. Perhaps the scene just now was also recorded, so she made a decision. Cruel is not taking Kang Ha's brother to the hospital, but driving away first. At this time, Kang Ha went to the police station to report. The next day, the whole Jooshin school was investigated for violence and drug possession, but no one was willing to tell the truth. Only Jae dared to bravely admit everything, knowing that Kang Ha was the one who caused this. The homeroom teacher found him to blame him. He was destroying the whole school. Kang Ha was forced to do it to bring the person who killed his brother to light, to eliminate evil at Jooshin school. The teacher was still fearless. Kang Ha asked permission to enter the classroom. His classmates were all bitter at him for daring to denounce them. The male student even tried to hit Kang Ha, but did not dare to use violence again. Everyone criticizing Kang Ha as just a scholarship student, but daring to oppose the school. Our students receiving scholarships, so we have to be bullied. The group of scholarship students all sided with Kang Ha, making the rich people angry. It was impossible not to use violence today. Just when Jae appeared to stop the male thug from taking action, she stood on Kang Ha's side. There was nothing wrong with what he did. Jae advised everyone to declare truthfully. Because they are students, they will be lenient by the law. Everyone looked at Jae with puzzled eyes. Later, Rian took Jae out to talk. He hoped Jae doesn't go to America, but this is something Jae can't decide. Rian hugs Jae and apologizes for leaving leaving her alone. Jae accidentally discovered the class monitor. She said goodbye to Rian and chased after. At the same time, Rian also received a message that the person who sent the video in the school was the principal. He wanted to go find the principal to settle the matter. On the other side, Jae caught up with the monitor, but he didn't want to talk. Jae asked the reason why the monitor caused these things. He hates the rich kids who always consider themselves the best, trample on the honor and dignity of poor students. But why did you only target me? Jae's guess is that the monitor wants to protect the principal. He did not publicize anything related to Rian because he was afraid of Rian's revenge. The monitor did not dare to answer. On the other side, Rian came to find the principal and asked her where she got the video from. The principal pretended not to understand and was exposed by Rian. The principal had to admit that the monitoring of Rian was assigned by the president. Rian returned home to look for his mother. He did not blame his mother for watching. But why did you send me that video? The principal didn't want the relationship between men and women to affect Rian's inheritance, so send a video warning to her son. But before being the heir to Jooshin Group, Rian was also a human. He doesn't want to continue being controlled. Is it because you did the same that my father left? Rian was slapped by his mother. Rian announced that he would give up. It would be difficult to disown his mother. He will give up his position as the heir to the Jooshin Group to do as he pleases. Mother called Rian back. He is the only son. If Rian gives up, who will take that position? He had to patiently listen to his mother's arrangements. At this time, Jae came to find Kang Ha. There was something he needed to tell him. Jae apologized for what happened and also apologized for realizing the mistake late. If Jae had stood up and admitted his mistakes sooner, to stop the rich kids from committing crimes, Kang Ha's brother would not have disappeared from the world. But maybe from now on, life would be better. Kang Ha would also be sorry for putting Jae in an awkward situation. Jae announced that she was going to America, wanted to say goodbye to Kang Ha. She wished Kang Ha to stay and achieve what he wanted. Jae stood up and left. Kang Ha had the last question. Did you ever like me? Jae immediately denied. Kang Ha still stubbornly thought she was lying, watching Jae leave before his eyes. After returning home, Jae filled in the ultrasound image of the lost child, then texted to meet Rian. She also had to let Rian see their unborn child. Rian cried in pain. Jae let the photo float in the river. Rian could only say sorry for not being able to protect their child. The next day, Jae took Rian to his brother Kang Ha's grave. Let him say sorry to the deceased before going to America. Jae wanted to work with Rian to correct the mistakes they made. Rian accepted all of Jae's requests, just asking her to stay. But he must know that it is impossible. Jae encouraged Rian. We are only 18. We still have a very long way to go. We will definitely meet again in the future. We also hope not to step on the same mistakes of youth. Rian was moved to tears. Jae smiled and cheered him up. On the other side, the principal called the homeroom teacher to her office. She had a video of the homeroom teacher playing around with students. What is teacher ethics? Woojin's family wants to keep this a secret and also wants the homeroom teacher to disappear forever. The principal asked her to write her own resignation letter and give her a small compensation. She was extremely upset and thought that it was Woojin who revealed this. The principal said that if it weren't for Woojin's begging, now the homeroom teacher is in jail because of having sex with a minor, and there's also the hit-and-run incident. Everyone will keep quiet. She also needs to know disappears silent. She has to be patient. Now the 4 tycoons have the opportunity to sit together again, but Jae is about to leave. Hee-ra plans to travel somewhere, but Woojin is not focused. Are you okay? Woojin really feels uncomfortable. He stood up to leave. Hee-ra chased after him. Woojin admitted that he was the reason Jae had to leave, because he thought it was Hee-ra's wish. Woojin also tells Hee-ra all the truth about Jae's pregnancy. Hee-ra was extremely angry because Woojin caused the group that had just reunited to be divided, but it was clear that it was Hee-ra's wish. The two started arguing. Woojin wanted to apologize to Rian and Jae. Hee-ra was afraid that those two people would ignore Woojin, wanted to help him find another solution. Oddly, their conversation was seen by the homeroom teacher. She got angry, and Woojin drove the car towards him. She walked down to say goodbye to Woojin. He hoped the secret would be buried forever, but she was determined not to let it go easily. She drove away. Hee-ra wondered to Woojin, what did this woman want to do? Woojin went back to his room to think, and then came to Jae in the middle of the night. He made a choice. The person I like is Hee-ra. But Jae knew Woojin didn't come just for this. He even secretly wanted to tell Jae that was the real culprit who caused the accident of Kang Ha's brother. Woojin found a pen in the car that caused the accident, recently discovered that it was a camera, clearly stating that the perpetrator's face is the homeroom teacher. He handed it over to Jae, letting her decide the fate of the homeroom teacher. Having received the pen from Jae, Kang Ha brought it to the police station to report. The police immediately reinvestigated the accident to return justice to Kang Ha's brother. A purge of Jooshin School took place again. Many people were arrested and taken to the police station. The homeroom teacher, who was planning to run away, was also taken away by the police. Kang Ha planned to rush to to question her. Luckily, the police stopped him. The principal held a board meeting. The principal took responsibility, but she couldn't bear this responsibility. The president directly dismisses the principal. Then the principal chased the president to ask for a chance, but she did not fulfill her responsibilities. Anything that affected Rion was eliminated. The principal was no exception. She had to return to her office to pack her things. The monitor was very happy that his mother was fired. From now on, their family will not have to bow to others. The monitor also admitted everything he did. The principal was no longer in the mood to blame her son. All the news about Jooshin's school was posted online. The community was talking about it. Rion's mother forced the secretary to handle it so as not to affect the company's image. After knowing the story, President Yoon announced that he would abandon his daughter, would not provide monthly child support. When she was young, Jae-yi was very afraid of this, but now it gives her a sense of freedom. Jae-yi is only disappointed when she has the heartless father in school. Rion came to see Kang Ha, wanting to apologize for what happened to Kang Ha's older brother. Although he didn't directly kill people, he left the bullies to beat Kang Ha's brother, causing his brother had to run into the street in the middle of the night, leading to an accident. Kang Ha did not accept the apology. It could not help his brother come back to life. He would not have the happy days with his brother again. Kang Ha wanting Rion to live in days of torment and suffering, taking responsibility for her sins. Kang Ha will never forgive Rion. After Kang Ha left, Rion went to the student jury. He admitted that he was the mastermind of everything. After this incident, everyone returned to normal life. Everyone still came to school with the hope that Jooshin School will get better and better under the guidance of the new principal. In the morning, Rion was getting ready to go to school. Jae-yi stood at the gate waiting to invite Rion to skip school. The two of them went for a walk together to try street food, better than 5-star restaurant food. At the end of the outing, Jae-yi has something to tell Rion. She suggested stopping temporarily to let the two find a new direction. Wait until both of them truly grow up and have a chance to get back together. Rion doesn't want to, but this time he doesn't stop Jae-yi. Everything is left to fate. Jae-yi also chooses to leave the tycoon family to find free for himself. Kang Ha promptly came to say goodbye to Jae-yi. Kang Ha thought Jae-yi would not have a chance to see her again when she went to America, but that was not her decision. Jae-yi would walk on her own feet before going. Jae-yi told Kang Ha one more thing. Last time I lied. I also had feelings for you. Kang Ha was sad, immediately became happy again. Thank you for coming. Jae-yi moved to a new land where she could start to rebuild her life. This is also where Jae-yi found her mother after many years of separation. Being rich might open doors, but it doesn't fill emotional voids. Focus on building meaningful relationships, not just wealth. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you in my next videos.